In the last couple of decades, we've seen huge increases in business productivity. A lot of our economic growth is driven by that. We've automated just about every significant business process that lends itself to automation. And now the question we're facing is, what's the next great frontier for business productivity, for leaps in business productivity? Can we make our supply chains much tighter than they are today? Can we achieve much greater economies of scale than we have today? Where will it come from? I'm Stuart Malcolm Scott, and my role is to be a guide for people who are stepping into the new frontier of business productivity breakthroughs. This frontier lies perhaps in an unexpected place. It lies at the heart of every business process we have. It lies at the place where two people come together and interact. It's the process of human interaction. I want to make 3 points to you in this talk. First, that conversation is a core business process. Second, that this core business process generates an enormous amount of waste, and that's an opportunity for productivity improvement. And third, it doesn't have to be this way. We have enough experience, enough knowledge, enough models, enough tools that we can do a dramatic job of improving this productivity. Consider first this proposition I have that a conversation is a business process. If you look at the processes that we've been automating for the last 20 years, that we've seen the greatest productivity improvements in, they've tended to be linear processes, the kind that can be described as a sequence of steps. They lend themselves to automation. But is that all we do in a business? No. A lot of our core processes consist mostly of people talking to each other. Think about strategic planning, for example. Sales, customer support, product development, innovation. These are processes that rely on human beings coming together and having a productive meeting of minds. We're using a lot of technology to support these processes today, primarily by supporting the information needs of these processes. But we haven't really got systematically to the heart of the processes, the point where human beings are interacting. And that's why I think we've got an enormous opportunity here for great leaps forward in productivity. When I ask people what percentage of your business challenges are technical and what percentage are social, what I hear from almost everyone is 80%, roughly, are social. They're people problems. No matter how it looks at first, it's always a people problem, it seems. I see that as a huge opportunity. Imagine that we could get at that huge amount of social waste in our organizations. Just take it down a fraction. What would that be worth if we could make every conversation matter? If we could reduce dramatically the time to resolution of the big issues in your business, what would that be worth? Now, if we accept that a conversation is a business process, let's use business process thinking. Let's look at where the waste is. And I've proposed that our business conversations produce an incredible amount of waste. If waste is that part of the input that doesn't produce a desired output, then we have a lot of waste. Here's a chart that shows some of the positive outcomes we want to see in meetings and some of the negative outputs that we get. Let's not think of these as just what happens in a meeting. Let's think of these as products we create in a conversation. We want to create shared understanding of complex issues. And yet often, we create confusion in its place. We want to create insight, new possibilities, new ways of thinking about a problem. And yet often, we create hardened positions. People believe what they believed when they came in, except even more so. We want to create stronger teams. And yet, we often create mistrust in our conversations. We want to create alignment, and yet we often create resentment, large amounts of it. We want to create shared commitment to collective action, and yet very often people walk away from conversations committed to doing what they have to do to survive the way they want to survive. We want to create high energy, high morale, and yet we often have people walk out frustrated and disappointed. Are these the outcomes that we want to create in our business processes?